one of the speculations that is super interesting, although there's really not been very much science around this, is that what may really stimulate creativity is tasks that require a lot of interhemispheric coordination.
Hmm.
One class of tasks that require a lot of interhemispheric coordination are certain kinds of motor tasks. So, for example, jugglers who are juggling, that requires a lot of interhemispheric coordination. It's not just hand eye coordination, but it's coordinating what's happening between the two hands. And one of the things we know is that pretty much the control of the right hand is in the left motor region of the brain, and the left hand is pretty much controlled by the right side of the brain. And if the hands are working together, it requires interaction between them. And so, one of the really interesting untested hypotheses is whether exercises that facilitate this kind of interhemispheric coordination may be beneficial for certain kinds of other creative activities that may have nothing to do with these motor tasks.
Hmm. So just doing something, I mean, we talked about this Tibetan practice of mudras where you're doing things like with your hands, but what's going on with one hand is totally different than what's going on with the other hand. It's like the whole thing where you pat your head and then you're circling, but it's like that on steroids. Like it's like it's almost like they have to operate completely independently, but it goes against some biological wiring. You have to like retrain something deep to do that. But that would be like an example of something where you're doing it physically, but the idea is it's perhaps opening something up, in the creative space or in some other way.
Yeah, yeah. So this was something that Court and I talked about just before we started recording, but there are these mudras in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition where they're hand gestures. And they could be very complex and they could be quite different. And they involve, different motions of each hand, all occurring simultaneously in a kind of beautiful orchestration when they're done by an accomplished practitioner. And there may be some real kind of side benefits that these Tibetan yogis thousands of years ago had some experiential insight about that may potentially be revealed in some future science.
You're like
Yeah.
you're visualizing whole worlds essentially. It's kind of like you're dreaming something into existence, but you're then doing these physical movements at the same time.